And we are on. Welcome to the new inaugural episode of East Meets West, featuring your boy Opinionated MJ, your boy Con Man, CP3
Conrad
underscore
Pascual.
777. Yes. Follow us on Twitter and welcome to the show, everyone. All the people that love basketball, welcome.
Welcome
Um,
everybody.
we're just gonna get started. Well, let's do a little small introduction for those that don't know us. Go ahead, Con. Tell them about you and what they can find you doing, and you know, just a little something.
Most of you can follow me on find me and follow me on Twitter
Yeah.
at CP3 underscore 77. Um, if anyone who has followed me and if you're just joining me now, I am born and raised from the San Francisco Bay Area. So like a Warrior fan is not something I necessarily choose to be. It's something that I am. It's part of me. It's part of my
Nice.
culture. It's part of my upbringing. So the Warriors and basketball in general, I am Filipino. It is very much a part of our heritage. It's our national pastime sport. So, yeah, we share a love of the game. A love of the game.
Yes, sir. And if you guys didn't know who I was, because I'm not the star that Con is, but I'm opinionated MJ, your boy Mike, out of Detroit. And as you see the Pistons jersey over there, born and raised in Detroit. So being a Detroit fan is not something I chose either. It's just, we was born this way. So all Boston fans just stay over there. Uh, and anybody else that we hate, even though I love Jordan, but it's whatever. But welcome to the show. So let's just kick it off. We're gonna start with the championship watch. So we
For
already
sure.
had the early injuries, you know what I mean, to two teams that were actually capable. Um, and Embiid is back, and then the Lakers look interesting. Um, I don't know who to speak of on the East outside of those two. I mean, Boston is Boston, but who do you have like if the finals was tomorrow? Who would you expect right now, based on everything that's happened, would be there tomorrow?
Um, I still go Denver. Denver out of the West.
Okay.
Um, and as it's looking right now, no shade at the Lakers, but I mean,
Uh-oh.
for what the Nuggets do well, I think their path, I wouldn't say is necessarily advantageous, but I think they match up with all their potential opponents
Yeah.
to their road back to the NBA Finals. As for the East, as much as it pains me to say, I'd have to probably pick right now the Celtics.
Okay.
Um, I agree. I'm not saying I don't know if I could have even at their healthiest picked the Heat to win, but I think Miami and Philly, had they lost the play-in game and been playing for the 8th seed, I think
Okay.
those are the two teams that potentially could have really, thrown Boston's path to the finals off a little bit. But right now, I think at least through the first round, their matchups are looking pretty juicy for them. So I would have to say, yeah, those two teams.
That would be interesting. Boston and the Nuggets. Um, Trying to think if I have something different. I don't know. And this is actually a topic. We might as well just segue into both of them. Like
Sure.
the I was gonna mention Bam and Kawhi, but do you think first, since we're in the East right now, you think Bam can like I don't know, become the number one option and carry that team? Do you think he's capable yet? Step into superstar status finally?
I mean, again, if we turn back the clock a little bit, if we remember before Jimmy Butler came to Miami,
Hmm.
there was that one season where they really were running the offense primarily through Bam.
Hmm.
Um, can he tap into that again? Can they tap into that again? I'm not
Right.
sure, and I'm not even sure if they would look to do that. I feel like their first inclination would be to task Tyler Hero, right, with more with more playmaking, right? I mean, yeah, you see
Yeah.
all the memes, but at the end of the day,
Man.
he is their best shot creator.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I still like Tyler Hero. I think though at times less is more. I'd say that with a lot of players. And that's not even a
Yeah,
bad thing, right? It's just I think like a more streamlined role and just, enables you to just be more efficient, you know.
right. Yeah,
But I know he kind of
yeah.
prefers to,
To
kind
show
of
out
show out. Exactly.
more
Yes.
than show up.
Yeah.
Like did you see the it was like a fake account, like Hoop Central, but it's Hoop Centel, like when you look
Yeah.
at the ad and they
Yeah.
put Jimmy Butler. Tyler Hero got Tyler Hero
Okay.
threw a punch at Jimmy Butler because he said 9 for 27 and then said he swung on Jimmy and missed. And then
So
he said 9 for 28.
so I don't have Hoop Central on noties. So
Yeah,
when I saw that tweet, I did at least make sure that it wasn't the real Hoop Central, but I did like
yeah,
this is a believable story. I thought
yeah,
this is a
yeah.
believable story.
It really is.
You know what I'm saying?
Because Jimmy is like that. So it sounded real to me, and then I had to look at the account. Like, let me make sure, because I usually block those or I mute those accounts. So when I'm
Yeah.
scrolling, it's like this is from an account you muted, and then so I unmuted it because it was a basketball person sharing it, and it was that, and I'm like, damn, do I need to follow them again? But I don't like sharing fake stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then thinking it's real, like, oh, look at this, because I did that like twice or
Yeah.
so many times. Like, I was like, damn, I shared this. Where is it? Where is it? Let me delete it. But I think I would wish that Bam could step into the Joel Embiid, Giannis, uh, Jokic kind of territory and finally ascend to that next level. And I mean, he does have Eric Spoelstra, you know what I mean? And it's not like they don't have like players around him. Like they do have Terry Rozier now, so it doesn't have to go through Jimmy. And I don't know what kind of game plan they could come up with on the fly now with Jimmy being gone. And I'm not sure how long he's going to be out because he got an MCL sprain. For those that don't know,
Yeah.
but I it would be nice to see him like really impact games the way that those other players do. And I know, they have varying types of impact. Like probably Jokic and Embiid are the most impactful. And then I would say Giannis, he's impactful, but this season has been a little, wonky, even though they what, third seed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't let me not discredit Giannis, but just to have your fingerprints on the whole game, like I don't know, I can't other than the like you said, like before Jimmy came that season, because didn't they see Boston and he got that? No, that was the play in. I mean, that was the first. That was the wasn't that the COVID season
Yeah.
when they went to the finals? Never mind. So
Correct.
they did have Jimmy then. Well, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like I can't think of a signature like Bam moment. You know what I mean? Like or Bam like extended timeline where he was just ooh, we got to go play the Miami Heat. We got to go play Bam Adebayo. Like I've
Yeah.
never heard anybody say that. I've never felt that way. You know what I mean? And but for him to kind of make his mark and do it now could really lunge him into another level, I believe. And then,
Yeah.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go
I
ahead.
just no. It's just I think far too often when a star player goes out, I think our minds tend to go to like, okay, who's going to step in for him?
Right.
And when we say like we need you guys to step up, well, what does that mean? And oftentimes, right, it's like, for example, I remember when like Steph Curry was out for a couple, like during I think like the 2016 playoff run, and
Yeah.
like Sean Livingston would fill in as starting point
Yeah.
guard. Like, dude, that come on, like stepping up. You can't expect Livingston to like go from like his 7 points per game to like 30.
Right.
Stepping up, it's you're gonna have to do it differently, and you're gonna have to do it at the best that you can. So I guess all that is to say with Bam, you're not gonna replace Jimmy's like 20 plus points per game, you
Yeah.
know. And to steal like a term from Moneyball, like can you do it in the aggregate, right? So
Yeah.
basically, can everybody pick up that slack in somehow? But that doesn't mean Bam isn't capable of elevating his game. It's just what is it? It's not, and that's what I'm saying. I think for him, it's not necessarily more scoring,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
think that it may force him in a good way to play a little bit more drop, even though I know he's one of the best big men at going at the defending on the perimeter,
Yeah.
right? But even with Jimmy, they were a below average offense in the league. I can't imagine it's going to get any better, right? In his
Yeah,
absence. So what you got to do then is you just have to be more efficient at what you guys already do best. This is
right.
where you really need a lot of discipline from Tyler Hero, assuming Terry Rozier can play
Yeah,
on Friday's playing game. Because
right.
then, yes, right, simplify this, right? Spam some high pick and roll, or not even, right?
Yeah,
Allow Bam to just kind of operate out of the low post, right? And find
yeah,
like find open shooters, weak side cutters. Because
yeah,
if not, there's you got to remember too. Jimmy is he's pretty much their best defender. If you don't think it's Bam, or
yeah,
fine, maybe
yeah.
Bam. So maybe
No,
he's their
it's
second best defender,
okay.
right? In theory, whoever you're replacing him with is worse, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, right? That is their identity. That's how they keep games close, right? Is that
Mhm.
they defend and they kind of limit the number of possessions for the opponent. These are things that they're going to have to do, and that is where Bam comes in because he is even before Jimmy, but now all the more he is the captain of that defense.
Yeah,
So he needs to make a mark.
I agree with that.
Um, if I could say though, as we are talking this out, the
Yeah.
guy who I think can and I really want him to step up,
Mm.
it's got to be Jaime Jaquez. Is it's
Yeah. Ooh.
it's got to be Jaime Jaquez.
Yeah.
If they're gonna win tomorrow, right, against a red hot Kobe White and DeMar DeRozan,
Ooh, we.
and I don't know if DeRozan's daughter is gonna be present,
Ah!
right?
Ah! Get her some candy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, he is probably, yeah,
Their best
Bam is probably
shot.
or I mean, Jaquez is probably their best shot creator and playmaker, right, off of a live dribble. At
Even
least
better than Tyler?
not necessarily, but I meant to say that their best shot creator who can like actually create something in the paint.
Okay.
Right? I think
I
Hero's
agree. I agree
still
with
going to be more perimeter oriented. Same thing with Terry.
that.
So, I mean, yeah, we shall
Yeah. Yeah.
see. We shall see.
We
But yeah, I
shall
mean,
see,
that's really
man.
throws a wrench because all season, right? If I've been like, kind of been like playing the boogie monster, to Celtics fans, I was like, well, you don't want to see the Heat in the first round. And it was looking like they would. And now
Yeah.
Jimmy goes down. So,
Yeah.
joke's on us. But
Yeah. And
yeah.
you said it to me yesterday too. Like, I really want Miami to just go ahead and say, here Philly. And then the way they lost by 1 point, you know what I mean? I'm like, Kyle was right. Like they're setting themselves up to just go
Well,
directly for the jugular. You know what I mean? Like if we're gonna
yeah.
play somebody, why not just play the champ or the perceived champion off top, and then who's left in the East? Like
Yeah.
we're right back in the finals. You know what I mean? Because Giannis is out, and you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm on board with that. And
Yes.
hopefully Yaquez can, yeah, hopefully he can show up enough. And who knows, we might get vintage Kevin Love now. I mean, because the ball has to be distributed. The ball has to be distributed around. So who knows, we might get a vintage Kevin Love game
It's
tomorrow. I
the
mean,
UCLA connection. All right.
yeah,
We need
yeah,
those UCLA. We need those Bruin alums to pick it, to show out
yeah.
tomorrow.
They
But
definitely need to.
going back to the original question, I mean,
Yeah,
we just said like 10 things that we would suggest Miami needs to do just to win a play-in game. And
yeah,
now, I mean, hey, Eric Spoelstra again, Filipino, he's my guy,
yeah,
but he's got to coach his ass off if they're going to figure out a way to beat. If they win the play-in tomorrow, how they're going to beat Boston,
yeah. Nah,
because now because yeah, I don't know. It seems very ambiguous as to when or if Jimmy will be able to return.
yeah.
So
I was just about to
yeah,
ask you that, like, about how long for Jimmy? It's probably at least 2 or 3 weeks. MCL sprain, like, yeah,
yeah. I mean, they didn't really give a timeline, so it's
yeah,
And again,
yeah,
I don't like to be pessimistic, but it's like okay, we
yeah,
can't really count on you, right? Like that can't be their mentality,
right,
So
yeah. And then the West is just clear cut, unless
I mean,
the other segue.
well,
Um, oh, go ahead. What you gonna say first? I don't want to cut it off.
oh no, it's just if we're saying for Denver's path, because they are the second seed, they will be playing the Lakers, right?
Yeah, right off top.
They play the winner that let's say Denver beats. Okay, I'll say it out loud. I already told some of our friends. I'm picking Denver to win that in a gentleman's sweep. You know,
Damn.
that's
Four to
that's it.
one, huh?
Why is it called a gentleman's sweep? Because after you get swept, you go to the gentleman's club. Okay, so
And I seen something. I don't know if it was from ESPN, something like while I was on YouTube watching like highlights and stuff like that. Um, and just looking at Zion's game again because it was amazing. Like, bro, I watched this man. I had to see it again. But I seen like a headline that said something like why the Lakers will surprise and win in seven. And I'm like, y'all really think that?
I
Like,
mean,
because
hey,
Jokic, huh? Go ahead, go
no,
ahead.
keep going. I'm saying,
Oh no, because Jokic is the most acrobatic player that's so less acrobatic ever. It's like, oh, Anthony Davis is guarding me, huh, and he just makes the shot. He do that and it'll go in, and it's just like y'all can't do nothing with him. And if Jamal Murray shows up, you're done. And then they still have other
yeah,
players too, like Aaron Gordon, um,
KCP.
MPJ. Yeah, KCP is just like they have too many like plug and plays. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, you have an off night. Oh, well, he's on. You have an off night. I do think they'll miss Bruce Brown, but I think over the course of the season, they've gotten the rest of the bench to be able to fill in the gaps. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
Jamal Murray's health is he as long as his health is good and he's good to go. Like, I mean, he could kind of fill in anyway. You know what I mean? Because Bruce Brown did what? He came in and pushed the rock a little bit and all of that. But I mean, you have Jokic. So how
yeah.
much impact does he really have? Especially like when he went to Philly, when he went to the Pacers, I thought he was gonna have a like serious impact, and then they moved him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So was his elevation a product of playing next to Jokic? You know what I mean? Like I know we've seen flashes, especially when he was here in Detroit. Like we knew what some of the capabilities he was like he had access to, but just needed a certain type of squad around him to be able to really kind of just do that. You know what I mean? And maybe that situation in Denver was the perfect situation for him. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they can have somebody else do that, play that part. You know what I mean? So, and then they need Reggie Jackson from the Clippers to show up.
Yeah.
I would
Again,
say.
wait. You want Reggie Jackson from the Clippers? You want Reggie Jackson from the Pistons?
No, Pistons Reggie Jackson he had a full head,
no,
man. He was
no,
like,
dude.
I'm the primary guy. Oh, I'm gonna go dribble under the rim and then I'm gonna go all the way to the damn baseline.
Yeah, dude, I remember.
And
I remember at the end of his Pistons tenure, I remember he gave that interview where he was saying he was like contemplating retirement. I was like,
yeah,
oh man.
it's like he used to think he was Steve Nash until he got under the rim. He would run all the way under the rim and then lose
No,
just mentality of how to actually create something from there. But then
exactly.
he went to the Clippers and we've seen a different version of him. And then in Denver, he's been good too. So but I do want to also, since the segue is the Clippers too, and it's Kawhi. I'm about to say the damn topic name. Kawhi on the set. It's Kawhi, and I know he hasn't been playing, but if he plays and he's the Kawhi Leonard we know he is, and that Kawhi shows up like last year's playoffs Kawhi, and he's healthy the entire time this time, you don't think they have a chance against Denver with
So wait,
Zubac over there?
so wait. Then that means we are assuming. Well, to be fair, wait a minute. Wait. So we're jumping up a couple steps ahead, right? Because
Yeah,
they would not be able to see Denver until the conference finals,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if Denver beats the Lakers, they play the winner of the 3-6 matchup, right? So that's
Hmm.
Minnesota and the Suns. It's going back to it. I don't think the West I don't think is going to be chalk. I think the Suns, I think Minnesota kind of screwed themselves. They do
Yeah,
not seem to match up very well with the Suns.
yeah.
I mean, sometimes you could say you throw away regular season matchups, but I mean, the manner in which they lost the season series to the Suns was pretty telling. There
Oh,
seemed to be like some kind of, like I said, some
matchup.
certain matchups that they don't seem to have an answer for. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
right? Break out all stops. We'll see. But I don't know. I'm more inclined to pick the Suns to advance, right,
Yeah.
out to the second round. And if that's the case, well, the winner of 3-6 plays the winner of 2-7,
Okay.
right? So is that right? Yeah,
So
should be
throw Russ
interesting,
on Booker, throw Kawhi on KD.
right?
Hopefully James Harden isn't champagne chicken Wayne James, as I like to call him. And I don't like to
Yeah,
slander any player, but I have slander here and there for James Harden because he comes back after Christmases and New Year's and all of that partying and stuff, and you could tell he's a step slow. So what James Harden are you going to get? You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's why like we have to figure out because yes, I think we can go into detail of how the Clippers could potentially match up with Denver, but they got to get that far to play Denver,
Yeah.
right?
I
They
mean, but
so are we? Are you saying you're picking the Clippers to beat the
I,
Mavericks?
if Kawhi is healthy, I mean, I really would love to see the Mavericks actually make it because I want to see Kawhi and Luca have some success. Because I was on board when Kawhi got traded there last season, and everybody was, "Oh, look how trash they are now," and "Oh, they only won this amount of games." And like, man, Kawhi played half of these games. Luca played half of these games. They only played like what 4 games together or something like that, 7 at most,
Hmm.
something like that. So I was just telling everybody like, calm down, man. Let them build a roster around those two because you can't just bring another star player in and just think that everything is just going to magically come together. You know what I mean? You gotta twist the Rubik's cube a little bit more. You know what I mean? And they got a lot of pieces that they brought in, auxiliary pieces, even at the deadline. They brought in more auxiliary pieces that actually fit in with what they want to do. So now they look this way. You know what I mean? So I'm optimistic for Dallas, but if Kawhi's there, man, and he's Kawhi and he's out there looking like Jordan, like I don't know, like I don't know if they could beat him. I don't know, because who on the Mavs is gonna defend like Kawhi or Paul George if he decides to just go off for 30, 40 points? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
uh,
So
it, mm.
I have not made. I cannot. Not trying to ingratiate myself to either fan base. I have not
Yeah,
picked a winner of that series yet, even though that's the one Western matchup that's been decided, that's been set in stone for like more than a week now. Because okay, the Clippers won the season series 2-1.
yeah.
Do you know the last time they played each other? It was before Christmas. It was December 20.
Seriously?
These rosters are
Oh
completely different
wow.
now. That's why I'm
Yeah,
saying,
yeah,
like, I mean,
yeah,
right? Everything that the the way in which the Clippers were able to control those games
yeah,
against Dallas, those are like the areas of weaknesses that Dallas addressed at the trade deadline, right?
yeah,
Picking up
yeah,
Gafford, picking up PJ Washington, even though some people may roll their eyes about that. I mean, like,
yeah.
he
But it
does,
works.
yeah, he
Hmm.
has a defined role, at least, No one's
Yeah,
saying that either of those guys are the savior, but I mean, hey, right? You're trying to just limit the, stop the bleeding in those situations.
yeah,
And that's what they've been doing. So that's why it's like they're two different teams now. I mean, I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, I haven't decided either. Although
yeah,
I'm excited about the potential of Kawhi showing up because I just haven't seen him in the playoffs healthy since when. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I want to see him healthy. Um, so I don't know. That's like a wild card to me because if Kawhi is healthy, then I don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? But I think that if he shows all the way up, not coming back hobbled or nothing, like it could get tough.
and let me ask you something then. Fine. Let's get ahead of ourselves here. If
Okay.
somehow the Clippers meet the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, who's checking Jokic?
Yeah. Zubac is unsuccessful.
What's he gonna do?
Yeah,
He's not gonna
he
be there.
he might still get his rebounds, but I mean, but they could let him go off and just lock up everybody else. They could try to lock up everybody else. I mean, James Harden is the weak link on that, but you know, 'cause then it could be a two-man game. Like just give the ball to Jamal and let him cook Harden's ass. You know what I mean?
I,
Pardon the language.
no, I think the only guy capable of putting up any legitimate resistance against Nikola Jokic is Kawhi
Mhm.
Leonard.
Yeah,
So you got to get him there then.
yeah,
And you're telling me he's already like somewhat physically compromised? Again, not trying to be ominous. It's
No,
just
no.
like
I mean, you're
I
right.
I've been saying this all season, right? Is that
Mhm.
like their lack of front court depth is pretty crazy for such a talented collection of two-way wings that
That's
they
true. That's
right?
true.
And I
Yeah.
know that they are capable of, playing up a position or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen certain lineups where even Kawhi will, in short bursts, but he'll basically play the five.
But
But
it's
now you're
not.
over a
It's
7-game
it's not
series.
the best thing to do.
Yeah, see
No.
that's different. That's
To
different.
have
And so
Jokic body on him, and nah, that's no. The way Kawhi body work, nah.
yeah, because I mean,
So
like, you know, at this point, this is the playoffs, right? Every possession matters. So
yeah.
it's like I don't think Zubac, let alone Mason Plumlee, are going to offer any real, consistent resistance against Jokic. So it's like, why even waste it? Like, why waste
Right.
those minutes other than to give Paul George and Kawhi a breather,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
And
so
then
yeah,
I don't
and
know
that's the
that
thing.
that
That's the thing.
Denver
I don't,
bench.
yeah,
Huh.
I don't know if, the Celtics are thinking as hard about their potential, opponents. I'm not saying they're invincible, but
Yeah.
they
But we
seem to have,
know they
yeah,
have lapses, and it just comes out of nowhere. You know what I
yeah,
mean? They have to get over being shocked, like how Steph Curry did them. You know what I mean? Like they were
yeah,
really feeling themselves. They were playing really good, and then Steph was like, he was on the bench smiling, and then the next game it's just like daggers, daggers, daggers. As the series
yeah,
went on, give me my damn ring. It's just like he demoralized them. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm not sure in the East who can do that, but you never know. So I mean, teams show up suddenly, and you know what I mean. And then here it is. But we haven't mentioned OKC at all. You know that, right? You noticed that at all.
yeah. I
So
know.
do we don't have any belief in them? Not right now. Too young.
What year was I can look it up, but what year were the Atlanta Hawks? Oh, that was the 2015 season. The 2014-2015 season when the Hawks they won like 60 games or
Oh
something.
yeah,
And they were
with
the
the
yeah, they were the number
not
1 seed in the East. Yeah, there was Millsap,
oh
Horford,
okay, it was Millsap, Horford,
Kyle Korver,
Corver, uh not
DeMar Carroll.
George
DeMar
Hill.
Carroll?
It was it Carroll?
Yeah.
And
And
who was the point guard? It wasn't George Hill, was it? It was
Teague,
Teague.
Jeff
Okay.
Teague.
Yeah. And they all go to the damn All-Star game, something like that?
The stupidest thing ever.
You're
Yes.
right. Like you're not the 2004 Pistons. What are you doing?
They went and they all that was as cringy. That was even more cringy after they were all right. The five of them were named the player of the week. Like,
Right.
tell you, man. For those who don't know me, I'm not a
Okay.
big fan of Adam Silver's NBA, and it's things like these. Right, these are the smaller things, but it's like, dude, like, what are you doing? But anywho, no.
Yeah.
I've seen or I've heard a lot of fans comparing OKC as the number 1 seed this year in the West to that year when Atlanta was the number 1 seed in the East, where basically they're not being taken very seriously. They're not being.
Right.
But since you bring
Okay.
it up, I mean, what do you think? What do you think? I mean,
I mean,
let me start out. Let me just start off. Is that people like they don't have experience
mhm,
for the most part? This is factual,
right.
but it's like, when you're fresh out of college and you're trying to apply for a job and they say, oh, you got a nice
You need
resume and
the
everything, but you need
experience.
more experience. Well, shit, give me
Yeah.
some experience, right?
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, this is their first job out of college. Actually,
Okay.
literally, some of them really would be college graduates if they stayed in college,
Yeah.
right?
Honestly. Yeah.
No,
This
I
is
mean,
yeah
like
because they're that young.
they got to learn somewhere and sometime. No time like the present. So it is what it is. So now, okay, as I'm sorry to cut you off. So as the
No,
number
you
1 seed,
good.
what do we think then? What are you thinking, Michael?
Uh, I think they need a big man. Like that was
Yeah.
something I had put as a topic, just like we just spoke about the Clippers
Yeah.
not having the front court depth. I know Chet Holmgren is who he is, but it's too many giants, man. Like you got to play Jokic, you got to play Rudy Gobert. Like, come on, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and then if somehow magically, even though I highly doubt they do, and if they did somehow magically make it to the finals, people are allowed to kill me off episode one. Whatever, do what you want to do, but they would have to see Kristaps Porzingis, or if Giannis comes back early enough and they somehow make it, like they got to
Giannis.
see Giannis. Like I'm just thinking about the bigs. If Miami somehow went, you got to see Bam.
Mm,
Who
Mitchell
is
Robinson,
Mitchell
Hartenstein,
Robinson? Yeah,
right? You
and
know, I
ooh,
mean,
hard. Nah, they're not. No. You know what I mean? Like so, but then that a question on Chet? Like, is Chet not? Have we not seen a big enough body of work from him against those caliber of players? Is why we don't believe in it, or is he just not strong enough yet? Do we think he's just not, stout and strong enough to be able to handle that? You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I think that's a great point. I think I understand that SGA
Uh-oh.
is the team's MVP,
Yeah,
right? But I still stand by my belief that like their success, the consistency with which they played all season, like
hmm
Chet is still right the
yeah,
straw that stirs the drink,
he
right?
is.
He's making all of that possible, right?
Yeah,
And so I'm not trying to say that they're taking advantage of his versatility, because I do believe that he can play multiple positions. I've been on the
yeah,
record about that. But yes, see, here's the thing, right? Now to have him, he's going to have to exclusively play all his minutes at center. And this right now, yes. So that's why, to answer your question, it is a combination of both lack of experience and now his lack of physical development because he's playing primarily at center
right.
could be problematic down the road. I mean, could they get past their first round opponent? I mean, okay, well, let's look at it, right? They're basically either going to play the Sacramento Kings or the New Orleans Pelicans.
Right.
I mean, I have my opinions about Sabonis, but
And
he's
I
no
didn't even
slouch.
mention him.
Yeah, right. So you get past that, So what? You play the winner of 4-5. So now you're playing the winner of Clippers and the Mavericks. You know, it could be, right? I mean, it could be very taxing. I mean, taxing for anyone, but
Yeah,
I think there's just a lot of responsibility being put on him
yeah,
specifically. Let again, and the other guys share in that lack of experience as well.
yeah,
Well, they'll lean on SGA's experience,
yeah.
but
His ability
still,
to create, he'll be leaning
yeah,
on that for sure.
yeah. Because I mean, I don't. I mean, I like Arkansas Jalen Williams, you
Yeah,
know, but that's it, right? Like that's basic. They are the two centers on the team, right? And I
yeah,
do believe Arkansas Jalen Williams is better suited to play center than power forward, but basically because of lack of options,
yeah.
yeah, this is that's who they're throwing out there, right? So it was pretty surprising that they did not add a center at the deadline.
Yeah,
Given all the draft capital and expiring contracts that they could have flipped.
yeah.
But hey, I get it. Hey, like you just want to lean on team chemistry. I understand. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah, so
shall
I mean,
see.
it's not simply just to say I think that's a good point to bring up because I think it's a little lazy to just say, well, they're young, so
Yeah.
they should automatically be eliminated. No, not necessarily.
We seen what happened last time. Somebody was like really ragging on the team, talking about they were young. They won the championship. They had more experience though, but we know who that is.
I was just about to bring that up.
We know who it is.
Yeah, that's right.
The
That's right.
baby warriors, and then everybody that was calling them that forgot. Like, oh, they weren't babies. They were Steph was up. No, y'all were calling them the baby warriors.
Yes.
Y'all, I think only one person pick them to win, like on like the ESPN
Oh
panel
yeah.
or whoever was hosting
Shout
it.
out to
Like,
Ethan Sherwood Strauss.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So
Yes.
yeah, you know what I mean. So that's why I say, people can kill me if they make some real good ground here, but yeah, I think they need more size just because of where the
Yeah.
league is. It's like Giants now. You know what I mean? Like the
I'm not,
Giants
and
are the
that's what I'm
team.
saying. I'm not saying that they can't make this deep run
Yeah,
because I
they
do
can.
believe, again, right?
Yeah,
In my opinion, they got a guy who could, if not should, be rookie of the year. They got a guy who a lot of people believe is the MVP.
yeah.
They got other guys, right? Like Santa Clara,
That's
Jalen
crazy.
Williams, that a lot of people believe he could be, an alpha on his own team, right?
Right.
In a different universe, right? All
Situation.
I'm
Yeah,
saying is I do believe that the way we look at their players, it's warranted, it's accurate, So I will not completely dismiss their chances, but just to
yeah,
say that they're young, no, I'm not going to dismiss them because sometimes, right, y- you learn on the fly.
yeah.
You learn and you
And
can succeed on the fly. It is possible, but the only thing is I will actually say if I have pause, which as we just did now, it's
yeah,
because there are legitimate roster, the way in their roster is
it's
constructed.
constructed. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So Chet, if you're listening, you got to turn into Loki, bro. Bring all the timelines together, and you got to sit there on the throne. You can make it happen and keep your chances alive. That's what that's gonna do.
that's what's up, dude. Or like
Yeah,
inject yourself with some super soldier serum. You know what I'm saying?
right. But don't turn into a USA agent. Don't do
Oh yeah.
that. Don't turn into that. But let us let us move to okay. So yeah, sadly, both of us are fans of the Warriors. You are the bloodline, and
That's right.
um, I don't really want to really rag on the game. I would just like to just go ahead and move forward. And I know, the media likes to get talking. Oh, they should trade Klay. Oh, they should trade Draymond. Oh, this stuff want to go through a rebuild. What do you, as the bloodline of the Warriors, and with some sense, probably more than who's running them now, Dunleavy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sleep on him. We'll see what type of things he does this offseason. But what do you personally think that they should do with this roster? If you had the ability to do almost whatever you wanted, about 80% of whatever you come up with in your head, or just whatever realistically, what would you like do to improve this team? I would love to hear it.
And I can go on for like days and days about this.
Okay.
But I'll try to keep it a little bit more terse. I guess what if I'm the GM, if I'm Mike
Yeah.
Dunleavy Jr., the question I first need to answer is the goal to win another child, like do everything possible to win another championship um, with Steph,
With Steph.
with
Yeah.
Steph, or is the goal to try to win a championship with the OG Big Three? Because
Hmm.
I don't think they're no longer the same scenario. You see,
What
that's
about in reduced roles for the other two? That's because that's kind of I don't want.
so
Let
no,
me
no,
let you go. I
no, no,
asked you
no,
to
no,
tell
no,
me your
no,
look.
no, no. That's a good point because see, for example, someone was asking me about Kuminga, and they're like, "Don't you think maybe like whether or not Kuminga can become a star, his
Hmm.
timeline still like he's not improving fast enough where like his peak or not even his peak, but whatever his closest peak will be will overlap with this current Steph. Like by the time he's really ready to be an alpha in his own right, Steph's
Yeah.
going to be like you know totally declined already.
Okay.
So that is a valid question. I understand people's concerns. The only time I will, or the one thing I will push back with is like we've only seen Kuminga play within the current system established by the OG Big Three, right? If you let's just say you took those guys out. Would it not wouldn't it stand to reason that they would actually create a system that's more focused on
Kuminga.
Steph and Kuminga?
Yes.
Right. This is why you're asking, can they work in a reduced role? I'd like to think it can, but I'm not so sure. I think it's more difficult with Klay. Up until literally this morning, if you'd asked me this last night, I would have said no. Let's just bring Klay, because at this point he's not a max player. So who in the league would give him a max contract? Probably nobody, right? He's not a minimum player. Well, all I'm saying is, like, if you could agree on a contract that's commensurate to his production.
Yeah.
Why not bring him back? But I think there is something to be said about, like, if he's just not there, and now, right, you're not having to plan around his deficiencies now. Right? You see what I'm saying? Like, it might make more sense if just both parties, went their separate ways. And that sucks. Yeah. That sucks. Because again, like, you're asking if that is the goal, is to win, and like the Warriors with Stephen Curry, then okay. But then again, maybe that's not your goal. Right. I remember, like, when the Lakers, even after tearing his Achilles, they gave Kobe Bryant a 2-year extension. And I defended it. I said, okay, because let's be real. The NBA is an entertainment business. Kobe Bryant is entertainment.
Was entertainment, yep.
Okay. Like, and he was an entity beyond, yes, rest in peace, Kobe Bean Bryant. He was like an entity bigger than the game itself at times, right? Like, that to me is what I think is getting lost on this generation, right? Like, you want to have those connections with your players, right? You would be lucky to establish that tight knit of a bond, right, with a player to the community, to the fan base.
Yeah.
And that is what Stephen Curry is to the Warriors. That's also what Klay and Draymond are. I could understand too if it just means more to the organization, like what the organization is, like what it was founded on, if those guys literally ride into the sunset together. I could understand that if that's what they're doing. However, that may not give you the best chances at winning another title. See, so
okay. I'm looking into my crystal ball.
Yeah.
And I thought something when Draymond was doing all that talking during the trade deadline.
Okay, he talks a lot, but
yeah, he does. But I mean, he's cool with LeBron. You know what I mean? Because that's where I'm going. What if they get Bronny just to get him? Like, we'll draft him second round. Nobody else is gonna take him. And LeBron comes over. Do you run the current roster, maybe a piece or two in or out or whatever, to fill for them to fill in those gaps? Or maybe just make a few other changes to make things fit better around Bron and make whatever changes you need to make to fit with this team. Does that give them another chance to make another run, you think? Or they just need to just do something different? Because when you're mentioning Kuminga timeline, I'm thinking, well, does LeBron could he fit the timeline of the current core? You know what I mean? Or could he fit better than Kuminga? Because he is more of a set product. You know what I mean? Like, he has a three, he can still go downhill, he's still dunking on people, he's still facilitating, like he's still LeBron. He just gets I see him a little more winded. People are like, decline, like it's not really a decline. And he's developing the old school, I'm getting older 3-point shot where he's just making it. Like, what he shoot? 40% this year, surprisingly.
Yes, so Legion Hoops will keep reminding us. Yes.
Yeah, because they've been shoving it down our damn throats. Like, yeah, you remember you said LeBron was shooting 33, 32%. Here, 40. So we've had to deal with it now. But if that's who can come to the Warriors, this is next season, do you think that they can give that like one more run with Klay and everybody.
Well, I mean, if he came to the Warriors, Draymond's definitely still there,
Yeah,
right? I mean, duh.
yeah,
I
yeah,
would imagine I would imagine that he would say he wants Klay to be a part of the team. Like
yeah.
they'll find a way to make it work, you know.
Because he's always wanted to play with Klay anyway.
Yeah, I think if anything, bringing in a guy like LeBron. Now, if you bring in LeBron, that to me says in all likelihood, I mean, it would be hard, right? We'd have to go into like a cap discussion in
Yeah,
terms of
we
how to
would.
bring him
And
in,
unless he take
right?
a pay
But
cut.
I mean, he'd have to take a significant pay cut. But
Yeah,
let's just say, like, you could make the financials work. I would think that if we bring in LeBron, Kuminga would not be a part of the team. Like, then that I think would motivate the front office to try to, like, he's definitely the Warriors, and not to dehumanize these players, but he's their best trade chip, right?
yeah,
Um, because I think you could probably find some team, whether that's like on, I don't know, Brooklyn or Atlanta. I don't know. You could find a team that's willing to trade like a young, athletic big man for Kuminga, you know, or maybe like if the Cavs, I don't think they should break up Jarrett
yeah,
Allen or Mobley, but if they feel inclined to do so, I
yeah,
feel like they would be interested in a Kuminga, right? I mean, they've always been in search for, you know, a wing player, a 3, 3, 4, you know. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, that is a scenario. Yes, that would be. I think that would definitely be the type of scenario that could potentially keep the OG Big Three together,
yeah.
right? Because a player like LeBron, same thing, right? He's not waiting on young guys to develop. Same timeline, which is I don't have much time left.
Right.
You know, I feel
Hmm.
like yes, but if not, and especially if they are going back to what I was saying, if they are more focused on, you know, Draymond will be back, Steph will be back.
Yeah.
Kerr in their exit interviews is saying that, you know, Moses Moody needs a bigger role next year. Let's say,
Yeah.
yeah, let's say you believe that then, right? Then
Hmm.
probably Moses should be absorbing Clay's minutes. And it sucks for me to say that. I really did not really come to that until like
I mean,
literally
because
this
he's
morning,
he's a good
you
defender
know,
too. He's probably a better defender at this point
at this
than
point.
Klay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, we've talked about like, you know, in our other discussions in the past, like we can say, hey, you know, like if this guy just takes a back seat and just only focuses on this, he could be successful and, you know, continue playing, you know,
Yeah.
and have a productive like late career. Well, it's easy for us to say that, but like, are they really willing to do that? Can
Right.
they do that? Like, is it within like their ability, or can you only
Hmm.
be your best version of yourself in a bigger role? But now being in that big role is hurting the team's performance.
Yeah.
And as
Yeah.
much as it pains me to say, that is how I feel Klay is now. I feel like, you know, those types of looks that he's hunting for, they're not coming as easily as they used to because there's certain things he can't do off the ball, you
Yeah.
know, and in doing that, the entire offense struggles, you know. And I didn't even talk
Yeah.
about defense. It's things like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But it sucks because if you're telling me that he doesn't come back, but he's still going to have a playing career, it, if because that happens, he's accepting of a smaller role elsewhere, then that hurts even more.
Yeah.
Right?
It
Like,
does.
dude,
It
accept the
does.
smaller role, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
I don't think
But I
he'll
mean,
leave.
they said that about
He's
Tony
he's
Parker.
on his damn boat and all of that. Like
I
he's
know.
not leaving.
I
You know
know.
what I mean? And who wants to
I
go to
know.
Florida? Like you're on your boat and here come a hurricane. Like no.
But again, you're saying if I'm Mike Dunleavy Jr., what is what is the smartest way, you know, what's the smartest thing to do to get us back into contention? Like I said, I'm not sure the answer involves Clay. Unfortunately, I don't. I don't. Wiggins is also for that matter too. Unfortunately.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What if that's the way to make the money work? Wiggins and something else for LeBron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd probably
And
have to be Wiggins and the young guys and like whatever, you know.
and that's gonna hurt because which young guys, you know what I mean? Is it Kuminga or is he
Yeah.
gonna be the sixth man? You know what I mean? Because I would keep Kuminga if LeBron's coming. Because suddenly he's getting to practice with LeBron every day. They're damn near the same build, and you get the Kuminga already looks good. You know what I mean? It's just
I
he's
think
not
so.
necessarily on the timeline of, well, the season's over now, so he's not on the timeline of next season if they don't make a, or I don't know, because I'm high on Kuminga. You already know I'm high on Kuminga. Like
I am too.
I think that he can make a leap. Like that's actually one of the topics. No need to segue because we already talking about the Warriors, but it was, do we start to develop more of the offense around Kuminga now while you still have Steph at this level and give Steph that much more relief? You know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah.
having to have him. And I thought they were kind of doing that because I was watching that game the other day and I'm like, Kuminga's bringing the ball up a whole damn lot. And I'm like,
Yeah.
are this what y'all want to do? Y'all letting Kuminga just do this? Like, and it was just confusing to me, like, that they're trusting him now. So it's just like that he's gonna have that much more experience now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's had a high pressure game, um, and he's been improving his game. He told Kerr like, "Hey, I'm ready," and then he showed up after Kerr was like, "Okay," you know what I mean? So can you take the next step? If Kerr say like, exit interviews, boom, boom. Let's say after that, sometime today when after they had the conferences and stuff, he's like, "Look, Kuminga, uh, I know we're about to part ways for the summer, but I want to curate more of the offense around you next season. So I
Yeah.
need you to go get your ish together, go enhance your game, go expand your game, go get more physically imposing. If you want to play a power game, go get pushing more shots up because we're going to need you to still stretch the floor to keep defenses honest against you so you can have that much more ability from the triple threat position. You know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah.
not like, oh, let's just drop because he's just going to drive. You know what I mean? And then that opens up Steph even more. It's like you're being able to do more still in Steph's orbit, and then Steph gets to kind of, it's like y'all get to orbit around each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
Instead of being like one of the stars that's just orbiting around, suddenly you're the moon. You know what I mean? Until Steph
Yeah.
decides to fly to the moon and you fly to Earth, and he's the moon and you're Earth. But let me not get on into that Astro talk, but you get what I'm saying though. It's like
I get what you're
you get to
saying.
become a bigger deal while you still have this stuff on this timeline right now while he, because who knows, next season he might begin. I don't really think so. I just think he's been starting to get a little winded too because he's had so much responsibility on him. But I I realistically think they can go the Kuminga route. Let's say, the whole dream scenario, LeBron and all of that doesn't happen. Just go to Kuminga route. I would lunge it on him now. I would just tell Steph like, what do you think about you and Kuminga being your second option, whether we win or lose? You know what I mean? Just to
Yeah.
force it into that and let us craft a new way to play because what we were is not who we are anymore. And then we don't have Sean Livingston. We don't have Leandro Barbosa. We don't have a David Lee. We don't have a Andrew Bogut. We don't have uh, a Harrison Barnes because Andrew Wiggins doesn't show up enough. And he basically uh, Warriors against Cleveland lately. So
Yeah.
that he's been that Harrison Barnes. And um, I mean, but Harrison was good for what he was. Just those championship caliber Warrior teams, they don't have that same like, and no need to mention the KD teams, like because you don't have a KD. So, and that's really what this all boils down to. Steph doesn't have a clear cut number two. He's probably the only player in the league. He's getting all of the slack and slander. Um, and people aren't saying, well, LeBron has Anthony Davis. Kevin Durant has Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. Kyrie has
Yeah.
Luca. Uh, Anthony Edwards has Carl Anthony Towns and or Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley. You can form them into one and a half if you want to.
You know how I feel
Um,
about Rudy Gobert. No, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. um, Jimmy has Bam. Uh, like it takes two. You know what I mean? And Kawhi, we can go down the list. Who does Steph
Right.
have that's just clear cut? Oh yeah, who's the Warriors' number two option? They
Yeah.
don't have one. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that may also really be the problem with the Warriors.
Oh,
And
it definitely is.
yeah, and
It
in the
definitely is.
dream scenario, LeBron is suddenly, oh shit. Excuse me. YouTube don't ban us.
No, I mean, like, I say it, it's kind of my shtick when I say, on social media, I call it, Jonathan Kuminga the bona fide second option because I'm
yeah,
quoting Draymond, right?
yeah,
That's not to say
yeah.
that I'm making fun of Jonathan Kuminga or the idea that he's a second option. It's just, um, I think he can be. I don't
Right.
think if you ask, like, you put Steph like on a lie detector test and you ask him, do you believe he is without a doubt the like a second option on the team? He'll
Yeah,
probably say no, right?
yeah.
Um, that's the thing though. So you say, the front office approaches Steph about it. What do you think about, running more of a two-man game between you and JK? I mean, Steph, I think he truly does enjoy playing with Kuminga. I think the team likes him. I think they really think he's talented. But if you're Steph, then you could really they're asking him for an honest opinion. If I'm Steph, then my counter question would be, what can we get for him? Right? Because
yeah,
if you're saying right now, I think JK can be a second option, he might not be one yet. Can you actually trade him for someone who is a definitive second option? Can you turn him into a Lauri Markkanen? Can you turn him into a Dejounte Murray? And I'm not even
Ooh.
saying these are the guys that they're the solution. I just think those guys could potentially be available. Potentially. I'm not speculating. I'm just, or any of those
Laurie
defensive guys.
Markkinen would
I'm not
be
even
amazing for them.
see, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just saying in terms of, right, like players that we believe are at the very least an established second option,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Could you flip him for Donovan Mitchell?
Mm.
Something like that. Something
Yeah.
like that. And that's the thing. Those are the things that Mike Dunleavy Jr. in the front office, they're going to have to explore this
Right.
summer. That's why I'm saying if you just go into it with the mentality that, like, we are building the best possible team around Steph, that's a
Yeah.
lot easier than saying, I need to take into account Draymond's deficiency here, that Klay is, you see what I'm saying? It's just kind of
Yeah.
an easier way to build if you're not having to work around certain
yes.
certain problems, or not problems,
Yeah.
but
Like you just keep running into walls, basically.
exactly. So
Yeah. So
that's kind of where I'm at. And, like, yeah, again, if you ask me this, like, right after they got eliminated by Sac the other night, I was like, the big three will come back and we got to retool, and see if we can flip some of the young guys into more established veterans. But now I'm like, actually, it might be easier. It might be the better move if some of them weren't there. So I don't
yeah.
know. We'll see.
Well, with that said, is there any topics in particular you just got off like randomly in your head that you want to discuss before we get out of here?
Let's play a quick game.
Uh-oh. Okay. Uh oh. Okay. Let's go.
So you have to say either something, you pick something nice or negative, and then I'm going to give you a topic. So you pick the nice or the negative, and I'm going to give you a topic.
um.
And this is
I'm
something
a.
you
I'm
have
a.
to somewhat believe. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna go with nice right now.
Perfect.
I'm trying to be in
Say
my nice energy right now.
say something nice about Detroit head coach
Oh
Monty
my
Williams.
God.
Perfect segue. Perfect.
um, when he was in Phoenix,
No. I
do
said
I got to talk about it right now?
Detroit Pistons head
Because
coach.
I was gonna say Phoenix went 8-0 in the bubble, but and that was no CP. But anyway, that was a product of not Monty. But I mean, something good about Monty is he he's more. I say it takes a lot to tick him off. You know what I mean? Like seeing what this team went through this season, uh, actually defending us definitively a month ago, whenever it was that he got mad about that call against when we played the Knicks. Um, Seeing him like ignite then and kind of show that he is emotional about this team. You know what I mean? But seeing him still be able to be controlled throughout, especially like if I'm the coach, I'm damn near I'm throwing the clipboard in the air in the middle of the game. It's gonna hit somebody kid, and then I'm gonna get a lawsuit or something like that. You threw the clipboard. You know what I mean? So I respect him for weathering the storm, man. Like you come to a team, you implement your philosophy, your game plan, your playbook, um, and things look good the first two games. Things look interesting the first five games. Things are kind of going off the rail after the first 10 games, and damn, what's happening after 15? And oh
This is a
man,
say
you
nice.
know what
This
I
is a
mean?
say nice segment. This is a say
I
nice.
mean, no, it's still nice because he maintained his composure and poise throughout pretty much. So for him
Okay.
to do that, I don't know what he did in the locker room, but just looking at who he is and how he speaks, I do give him another shot next season if he's up to it, and he already said he is. Um, and just the way that he came in, like when he came in, Detroit was happy. Uh, the players were all the players except like maybe one or two were at the press conference. Um, he was with Cade during his Team USA when they were running like what is it the select team.
Yeah.
He was there because I think he's a part of the coaching staff. He was with Cade the entire time. Um, he was there supporting them during the summer league. Um, he's a stand up guy. You know what I mean? And I can respect that about him because you don't have a lot of coaches that garner that type of attention. Like they go to a team and the whole team is there, or because I mean, like for instance, well, you said nice, so let me not segue, but it's just good vibes. You know what I mean? And then to hear some of the things that I'm hearing from the players, it just means that he may not truly have lost control. It's just sometimes it takes a year to mesh. And we just so happen to have one of those lapses where we had a horrible losing streak, but it's going to in turn into a good thing next season. I believe so. Because along the way, we also made some moves. We picked up Fontecchio, and that like
Mhm.
changed the entire look of our team from what it was before him. You know what I mean? So basketball is all about fit. It's about putting players with or complimenting the players, making sure they have compliments. So if I look at it just fully nice, like we got to give them a chance to do that, man. We can't just say, "Oh, you're Monty Williams, and we're the Detroit Pistons. Turn us into a 50-win team tomorrow." Things don't
Yeah.
happen. Rome's not built in a day. You know what I mean? So nothing worth having is built in a day, or it's got a horrible foundation and it's cosmetic. You know what I mean? Like they're building a sandcastle and it's gonna stand up. Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
nice, doesn't it? It's gone. You know what I mean? But you build
Yeah.
the bricks, you can't blow the house down. You know, you can't big bad wolf this house. So Monty is the guy. I'm gonna just go ahead and say that for right now. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put my money behind him again because everywhere he's been, they have gradually gotten better. And some people will say negative things that I won't say, um, or attach it to something. But at the end of the day, it's on him. You know what I mean? Like you said, nothing negative, so I don't want to throw no more negatives. Like trying to make
You
similes
want
and
me
all of
to?
that. Like, I mean, no, you can't. Can you? Or are you doing the negative? I'm doing the.
I
Am I
mean,
pointing the right
I
way?
suppose we could go to the topic and play, or I could give the negative then.
Hmm. No, let's just switch topics.
Okay.
Because you're gonna I'm gonna get upset. Like, man, that's what I mean, and then it's gonna throw my whole piece out. Unless I just hush myself up, like, hmm. But yeah,
Let me go.
that's my nice Monty take.
All right, there you go. All right, say something nice or say something negative.
Oh, I'm picking again, or you?
Uh
Something
oh,
nice or something negative?
okay, cool. I'll go negative.
Negative. Hmm. Hmm. Are we doing this hometown style today?
Well,
um,
I wanted you to do that. So
you did?
I set you up. I was hoping you'd say positive or say
Yeah.
nice. So
Um, I guess
Doesn't have
Tell
to
me
be whatever.
something. Tell me something negative. Well, we
Uh-huh.
just talked about the Warriors, though. Um, I want to kind of hone in on Steph. Like, if you've seen anything negative from him this season, but I mean, that's mm, negative. Let's see who's just above and beyond right now. Okay, and you'll go in heavily. The Boston Celtics. They're looking like the proverbial possible champion. Blah blah blah. They look good. They got Derek White. They got all these plug and plays. They got one of my favorites in Al Horford, who I think is a championship glue piece. Wherever he goes, he just things just work. Um, we have Kristaps Porzingis now. You still got Tatum and Brown. What negative can you say about them? Uh oh.
I mean, since the Warriors played them in the 2022 finals, right?
Yeah,
Obviously, the biggest acquisitions to their roster have been in no particular order: Derek White, right?
yeah,
Um, Horford,
yeah.
and am I missing anybody?
KP.
Oh no, I'm saying I meant to say Porzingis. No, Horford was already there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Derek White and Porzingis. Is there any more notable addition that as in their rotation? Even if there are, those are the two that stand out. Now, okay.
Yeah.
Um, yes. Oh no, what am I talking about? Drew Holiday. There you go. That's what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Perfect topic.
yes.
Say something negative
So I'm
because
supposed to say
what's
something
wrong with
negative.
him?
I'm
What's
supposed to say
wrong with
something
him?
negative. Okay. Okay. Because actually, to start with the negative, I guess I was about to say something positive. But despite, well, okay, fine. This is a little bit positive. You could make an argument that they have, I don't even think it's an argument. I think they have improved their defense, which was already pretty good, which was
Yeah,
good in
yeah,
2022. I think
yeah.
it's, for the most part, gotten better, you know, because outside of the Clippers, they have the best collection of wing defenders. I would say. I would say.
You're being positive.
That's positive, right? Okay, here you go. What are the fundamentals you need to play basketball?
Move your feet correctly. Um, um, like
Right?
regular fundamentals.
Right?
Move your feet right.
What are the right? What did James Naismith teach us? Right? I mean,
Yeah, pass the ball.
you have to
Yeah.
dribble.
I mean, dribble, pass, shoot. Right.
Right. Right.
Don't step your feet over each other so you don't trip yourself up on D. Stay grounded.
So at the end of the day, in all likelihood, right,
Yeah.
their star players are going to, rightfully so, have the highest usage rate. They're going to take the most field goal attempts. Sorry
Right.
for the long reveal here, but they can somewhat pass.
Yeah.
They can shoot.
Mm.
I'm not convinced that they can dribble. That is not improved. It's specifically their top two players, Tatum and Brown,
Mm.
struggle. I know everyone likes to make fun of Brown, but even Tatum, it's funny that Brown, he gets the most brunt of it. Like, he can't
Mhm.
go left, but even Tatum, no. See, they try to mask it by, again, getting him like off of a screen or a pin down, and he may take one or two dribbles, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, he just tries to like take one or two dribbles to get into a flash post, and then that's it. Now, if you actually really force him to put the ball on the floor, especially beyond the arc, it's funny. It's funny. It looks like a CYO kid, right? With like the adult ball, like and that could be that to me is a big reason why I'm still not like 100% sold. But overall, they have like like I said, biggest collection of talent. Then there's Porzingis, who
Yeah.
again, yeah, I get it. He's had a pretty good season,
Season. Yeah.
but people like to write off his bad performances because, like, well, look how many other good performances he had. Everyone's due for a bad game, which is true. That is true.
Right.
Everyone is. But if you really look at the game film, the manner in which he's having these bad games, it's the same reason over and over again, right? Like I said, the
Yeah.
ability to get up and into him, right? To really prevent him from gathering correctly,
Yeah.
so then he's kind of like, like
Yeah.
he's throwing like a shot put or something,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is. I'm not saying he's soft, but I mean his game is more finesse. He's a finesse shooter. So
Yeah.
I mean, those are your top 3 scorers, right?
Yeah.
And they have like very defined holes in their games that can be exploited. The Warriors did it 2 years
Mhm.
ago. I
They
don't know.
showed it.
Denver's pretty young in its prime, man. I mean,
And
so
full of
yeah.
defenders.
And then, frankly, I will. No, I'm supposed to be negative. He's in what, year 3 now? Joe Mazzulla is still way in over his head. He's not incompetent. He's not incompetent, but like there are a lot of big decisions in crunch time, right? That
Yeah.
he seems to struggle with. Again, it's easy for us as viewers, and obviously, right, we could a couple minutes into the out of the timeout, we can still continue to think about what he could have done or should have done. I get
Right.
it, but see that's the difference. We're not paid millions of dollars to do it. He
Right.
is,
To do it.
right? So
Yeah.
I mean, uh, going up against what Michael Malone.
Hmm.
I mean, I'd pick him. I'd pick Malone, right? If there was,
I
that's why
mean, yeah.
going back to it, right? I understand. I understand the Celtics. If Jimmy Butler was healthy and that was the 1-8 matchup, I get it. The Celtics would still be a heavy favorite, and I totally understand it. But you know what?
Hmm.
I have every reason to believe that you're going to win because you have more talent. But
Hmm.
Spoelstra's going to outcoach him.
Yeah.
Like he's going to outcoach him. Right?
Yeah.
Mike
That's why they
Malone.
don't
Michael
really
Malone.
want to see Miami.
Yeah. So there you go. That's me being negative. I don't know. To be funny though, that's how I truly feel. but,
Yeah.
but again, despite again, I'm supposed to be negative, but despite those, not to save face here, viewers
Yeah.
or listeners, it might be that simple. Like it's not like the Celtics are just talent and they're a bunch of like like incompetent players. No, but despite those weaknesses in their game, it might their talent alone might be enough to just get them to the finals. And then once you're in the finals, and there you go. So
Right. You got to face Jokic.
I know, right?
Behind the back, he was passing it, but he made the shot. Oh my God.
That's
Um,
right.
I just wanted to say shout out Mike Malone because you were done wrong a long time ago when DeMarcus Cousins was sick and the Sacramento Kings fired you. They are stupid for
That was
that.
yeah.
He was sick and they were winning heavily before he got sick and then they fired him. Yeah.
Yep.
Want to throw that out there. I'll never forget that because I was a heavy Kings fan that year, and I'm not really a Kings fan like that.
Nor am I.
Yeah, it was only because of DeMarcus Cousins. So
That's right.
yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. We're not gonna keep you too long because we can do this 2 or 3 hours, but we'll give y'all a good preview of the inaugural, let you enjoy it, take it in, learn what to expect from us. Um, your boy Khan, Mike, East meets West, be on the lookout for it. We're gonna look to put it on as many platforms as we can. Just give us some time and hope you enjoyed the show. Look forward to these games tomorrow too. Make sure y'all tune in to the games tomorrow. We got what is it, Bulls and
Bulls and
Heat, right?
Heat, and
Yep, and
then
then
the Pelicans and Kings.
Pelicans Kings. Damn. Prayers up for
Yeah,
Zion, man.
with no Zion,
Yeah,
unfortunately. So go ahead, cue all the jokes and everything. So
right. But
I've
yeah,
heard a
that's
lot of
it.
funny jokes that probably aren't appropriate to say, but
Uh-oh. Yeah.
so
What? Some more fat jokes or something about
no,
Zion?
about his
Oh.
other extracurricular activities.
Oh. Oh. I think that's a joke enough for the people that's listening.
I know.
Yeah. So y'all have a good one, man. We'll get with y'all soon.
All right, take care, everyone.
Take care.